If you're new around here, you might be asking, what is Fast Draft? So let me explain. Normally, a Pokemon Draft League takes months to complete. Every coach carefully preparing for the draft, trading throughout the season, tailoring team builds week in, week out, the whole 9 yards. Fast Draft throws all of that out of the window. There's no long waits, no backups in case you get sniped, no super secret tech you've been planning to get you through a rough matchup. You've got to think on your feet, draft on the fly, and then team build in an hour. The chaos is part of the charm. You're locking in Pokemon you might not normally touch, figuring out synergy on the spot, and then trying to outplay people who are in the exact same boat. The format for this Fast Draft was not fully evolved, plus extras. They're the middle children of evolution. Not strong enough for competitive play, not cute enough to be the mascot, just forgotten. No one's waking up in the morning thinking, man, I can't wait to build a team around Poliwhirl. But that's exactly what makes this so fun. These Pokemon aren't supposed to win. They're supposed to be a checkmark in the Pokedex, collecting dust in the box, while their fully evolved forms take all the glory. You might be asking what the plus extras is all about. Well, we did add some mons that technically don't fit the quota, but would spice up the format. For example, Pokemon that never evolve like Tropius, and some final evolutions that don't really ever see the light of play like Mightyena. Okay, before we jump into the draft, let's quickly go over the rules. Each coach builds a team of 6 using a tier system. You get 1 pick from S, 2 from A, 2 from B, and 1 from C. But there's a twist. The most powerful Pokemon in the format have their own dedicated tier, S+. If you want to draft an S+, it will cost you one of your A tier picks, and instead you will have to take an extra C tier. So the trade-off is raw power versus overall balance. Once the teams are drafted, that's it, you're locked in. No changes, no swapping around between matches, it's open team sheets so your opponents will know your moves and Terra type, but natures and EV spreads are hidden. As with most non-evolved formats, Eviolite is banned, everything else is on the table. We also play with an adapted version of status clause to keep the speed of the games up. This allows only 1 intentional status of each condition per game, so 1 burn from Will-O-Wisp, 1 sleep from Spore, 1 paralysis from Thunderwave, 1 poison from Toxic. You get the idea. No evasion boosts, no 100% accurate OHKO moves. Okay, Jack, what do you want?
Which means he loses his pick!
He lost his pick!
I'll have P2, please.
Okay, Porygon 2. Oh, what a surprise. Lukey boy, who do you want?
Yeah. Give me a Grand Bull.
A Granbull. Phoenix, what do you want?
Chomp.
Biggs Metacham, oh my god!
Yeah.
Okay, it is me. I will be taking Persian Alola.
I knew it. I knew it was one of them two. I knew it was one of them two.
Nick!
I genuinely don't know. I'm going to I'm sorry, guys. Can we 2 seconds here?
all good,
I'm coming up with a plan. I don't know if this is a good choice. Give me Clodsire.
Oh, I did look at it. It's gonna be bad. Champ, double pick. Chargebug and Magmar. Knew it.
Okay.
It's back to you, Nick.
Well, yeah, cool.
It
Okay,
comes back quick.
give me Drizzile.
Okay, that's fine. It's not fine. I want Pikachu.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Luffy!
I don't think people realise.
Pikachu. Okay.
What happens when you give it its signature item?
It's water.
It says in rule set signature items for Pikachu are banned. I can read
I don't think they are.
it.
I am not at all.
He's
I
nuts.
can't your Pikachu with Rhydon is Rhydon is very good. And it's back to you, Luke, already.
Let me get Fracture.
And then Jack on the wheel.
So I'm gonna have it's one of the two, Doug Trio or Doug Trio Alola. I just can't think.
Well, would you
Which one?
rather be bald or would you rather have hair?
Arena Trap is class.
Yeah, so I want Doug Trio, please.
Kanto.
Just regular, yeah.
And then what else do you want? The other one?
Yeah, I did think, you know, I just get burned. Just sit there like, come on. And then I think I'm possibly going to go with possibly Minior. Yeah, I want Cyclizar.
Cyclizar?
That's a really good shout.
Yeah,
that is a
Cyclizar.
good shout, mate.
Phoenix. Love Disc? Is that Love Disc?
What? Oh no.
No. You put a love out in chat, Murkrow. Oh, boo. I didn't think it was going to be this popular. A couple of people have said it, and that's going to force my hand. I want Minior. I was sat there like hacking it a little bit, going, no, please don't take it. Please don't take it. Oh, Nicky boy.
I know.
You say this though, but you always go through it like this, and you feel like you get rinsed in the. And then you did well last time.
Give me electric.
The eel.
Yeah, the eel.
Yeah. I just had to make sure.
It might have been one of Luke's.
Oh,
It's so bad. It's so bad. You don't want that.
Grouchy Grambles, Brion and Ditto. Oh, I was looking at Ditto.
Yeah, I think Ditto looks good.
I feel like Ditto should have been higher, but we can't go back. Hey, he's back to you, Nick, already.
No.
Let's just pull the trigger on this Dusclops.
Ooh.
Fair.
That's nice.
Now it's
Fair.
me. What do I have? What's my team again? Oh, so I have like a choice here. I'm gonna go off the rip. I'm going off the team sheet. Like, we're throwing it out the way. I'm having Clefairy.
Whose turn is it?
It is the Angsty Ipon. Picking up Primplup, made day 2 in Gdansk. And now we are on to Lukey boy. You finally got your... What was on your mind, Luke?
Yeah. Can I please get Mighty Enna?
Ooh,
Mighty
okay.
Enna.
It's the only time I'm ever gonna be able to use my nice little doggo.
Go on then, Jack. Hit me with a double.
Is it
And make
me?
it trouble.
Ah. So it's a choice out of. Ooh, no, you know what? I'm having more Pico, and
Okay.
I'll have Fletchinder.
Woo. Okay.
Lukey boy?
Since Jack so kindly took away Fletchinder, let me get Braixen.
And then it is Phoenix. Give me the only grass starter in Smash. Ivysaur. Okay. I've got a really big decision to make here. Poliwhirl's time. It's a sweep. It's coming, son! Poliwhirl's coming to the And then we are on to Nick.
Give me Hisui Sneasel.
Oh, holy sheesh.
Nice.
I will go with Dracloak and Weeping Bell. That is champ done with probably one of the scariest Sun teams I've ever seen.
Oh, you know what's really good? Or what I think could be good for me at least. Let's have here. Oh, let's go low kicks.
I agree. Low kicks. Oh, very good, very good. Oh, it's me. Yeah, I'm going Cypher.
Wait, has he ended up with Lightning Rod and Scyther? Is that what's
Yeah.
happened?
You look at my team,
Oh,
mate. That Pikachu was integral.
Let me get Wook Trio.
Wook Trio. Oh my god.
Choice.
Someone take the overdug trio and we've got all 3. Go on, Jack, take another
Oh
one.
my god.
Nah, I'll have Sunflower, please.
Sunflower. Oh my god. We have Yorkshire Yampers with P2, Cyclizar, Morpeko, Fletchinder, Dugtrio, Sunflora. We have the Tallahassee Totodiles with Gramble, Fracture, Zangoose, Mightyena, Braixen, and Wook Trio. We have the Angsty Apoms with Medicham, Murkrow, Rhydon, Primplup, Ivysaur, and Quilava. God damn.
Yeah,
What a Firewater Grass.
right.
Starters. Starter Firewater Grass.
Yeah, that's cool actually.
You've got me, the Perth Poliwhirls, with Cypher, Persian Alola, Pikachu, Clefairy, Minior, and Poliwhirl. The Saffron Sandshrews with Dusclops, Clodsire, Sneasel, Hisui, Electric, Low-Kicks, and Drizzile. And then the Grouchy Grambles with Magmar, Brion, Chargerbug, Dracloak, Ditto, and Weeping Bell. What a draft. That concludes the draft.
These
See
are
you
all
good.
terrifying.
Let's go.
in the games. My first pick, the glue holding everything together, Persian Alola. There's a reason why I picked it first. Fur Coat halves physical damage. which turns what looks like a flimsy cat into a reliable disruptor that refuses to go down easily. The EVs and nature are tailored to maximize speed, ensuring Persian outpaces most mons in the format, giving me a chance for my hard hitters to shine. The bulk investment makes it harder to remove, especially with passive recovery from leftovers. The Ghost Terror is a defensive pick. It removes the fighting weakness, gives Persian a sneaky way to dodge fake outs, and turns it into a surprisingly resilient pivot. With Snarl for special attackers, Icy Wind for speed control, Parting Shot not only to lower stats, but to gain momentum, and Fake Out to pressure my opponents into playing defensively. Persian isn't winning games directly, it's there for the mind games and damage reduction. My second pick is the meme that becomes a menace in this format, Pikachu. Holding the light ball, it doubles both its attack and special attack stats. It hits absurdly hard for a Pokemon with such low base stats. Lightning Rod is also huge. I might be running all out physical, so the special attack boost is useless, but it keeps my opponents from freely clicking electric moves. This is essential when 3 out of my 6 are weak to electric. The spread is all about maximizing speed and attack, with just a touch of HP investment to help survive recall damage. Volt Tackle is its nuke button. Knockoff is an invaluable utility against item-reliant Pokemon. Fake Out gives Pikachu a way to support the team when it's not blasting something off the face of the earth. And finally, just Protect. Electric Terror supercharges Volt Tackle into a terrifyingly strong stab attack. Pikachu looks like a joke, but in practice it's a real threat that can hopefully catch someone off guard. My third pick is a perfect sweeper, Minior. Minior is one of my favourite Pokemon that never sees any play, but in this format it could be the best value pick in the whole draft. The ability Shield Down lets it start the battle in its bulky Meteor form with base 100 defenses, giving it an opportunity to get into position. Then, once its HP drops below half, it transforms into its core form, swapping its defenses with its attack and doubling its speed. The EV spread balances bulk with enough speed to outpace threats even in the Meteor form after a Shell Smash. The Adamant nature plus max attack investment make sure this thing hits like a truck. The White Herb is a perfect item for Shell Smash. Shell Smash raises speed, attack, and special attack at the cost of defense and special defense, but the White Herb eliminates the stat drops, giving me all these boosts for free. Add this onto the Flying Terror type to maximize acrobatics damage, turning Minior into a nuke once the item is consumed. Rock Slide adds spread pressure with the chance to flinch, and Dazzling Gleam offers unexpected coverage against dragons and dark types, but also makes use of an insane special attack stat, which could come in clutch if I get intimidated or burned. If Minior finds one free turn to Shell Smash, it can run away with the game. My fourth pick was impulsive, Clefairy. Clefairy is a defensive anchor. Friend Guard reduces the damage taken by its allies by 25%, which is huge for letting my more fragile offense get the damage down. The EV spread is heavily defensive with max HP and mixed bulk, so it could take almost any hit. While the negative speed nature and zero speed IVs are perfect for Trick Room matchups. Currently my team is incredibly fast, and my opponents will team build to counter that, but I have a cunning plan if that does happen. The Covert Cloak is a great item to complement this set. It blocks a move's secondary effect, like flinches from Fake Out or stat drops from moves like Icy Wind, letting Clefairy keep supporting without being disrupted. The Steel Terror type patches its poison weakness and provides it with the most amount of resists, giving Clefairy another way to stay on the field and cause havoc. Its moveset is a risky one. Pure support, not one attack. I usually don't do this, as it's easily punishable with a taunt, something most teams will have access to, but there's no room for an attacking move. First up, Helping Hand, to boost damage and make those rolls to KO guaranteed. Then my counter Trick Room tech, After You, to flip the Trick Room on its head, letting my speedy mons act as if they had Clefairy's speed stat. To wrap up the set, I have Follow Me to redirect attacks, and Protect to buy extra turns. Clefairy can't win games by itself, but it will put fear in my opponents when they see it hit the field. My fifth pick is the wild card, Poliwhirl. Despite being a C tier, it brings a lot of useful tools to the team comp. With the ability Water Absorb, it adds a water immunity to my team and can provide a safe switch for potentially super effective attacks on Minior. The EV spread is straightforward, max attack and max speed with a jolly nature. Poliwhirl's entire role is to belly drum and then smash holes in teams. Citrus Berry pairs perfectly with belly drum, letting Poliwhirl immediately recover half of the HP it sacrifices, getting the best bang for my buck. The Fire Terror type has perfect synergy with Water Absorb. It patches up its Grass weakness and turns Terra Blast into a strong coverage move. This lets Poliwhirl deal with those pesky Steel and Grass types that would otherwise wall it. Once Poliwhirl sets up, Liquidation or Terra Blast can OHKO anything. Protect is crucial, especially if I successfully get the belly drum off. Poliwhirl will be enemy number 1, so it needs to be able to stall for the right opportunity to strike. This set is high risk, high reward, but devastating when it works. Finally, my ace Pokemon, Cypher. Cypher is the closer and the centerpiece of the team. With Technician, even its weaker moves hit incredibly hard. The EV spread once again maximizes attack and speed with a jolly nature. There's no need to overthink this part. The Assault Vest is an unconventional but brilliant choice for Cypher. Its base defenses in this format are insane, and the additional special bulk means it will be able to stay around long enough to sweep. The ground Terra type is for defensive reasons. It flips Cypher's electric and rock weaknesses into resists. The hard choices came in the moveset, as Cypher has a really good move pool, but I ended up with Fury Cutter for snowballing damage to a point where it will KO anything, even with resisted hits. Close Combat provides consistent high damage output and adds coverage against bulky normal and rock types. Dual Wing Beat gets the boost from Technician and can bypass frail Pokemon using the Focus Sash. And finally, rounded out with U-Turn to maintain momentum and recycle my Fake Out users. Cypher is my main win condition, and the entire team is built to get it in position where it can clean up. Now the live draft is done and the team building is complete, there's only one thing left. Time to get into the battles. Can I take home another fast draft? The matchups go live and I pull Nick round 1. On my side, I've got a team built around disruptive support and speedy offense. Nick, on the other hand, is rocking a really tricky composition that has both slow and fast modes. Dusclops sets up Trick Room, Clodsire alongside Electric, threatens my team with bulky offense, and then he's got his own glass cannons, Choice Band Low Kicks, Focus Sash Hisui Sneasel, and a Choice Specs Drizzile. My team wants to outspeed, pivot, and punish over time, while Nick's team is all about getting the speed control and then letting his heavy hitters do the rest. Nick leads Dusclops and Electric, I lead Cypher and Persian. Seeing Dusclops, my brain immediately thinks Trick Room. I have to get some damage down while I move first. Snarl's imperfect accuracy doesn't strike once, but twice. I U-turn Cypher out to preserve it for later and swap in my counter Trick Room mon, Clefairy. Nick has the upper hand as Electric knocks off Persian's leftovers, and Dusclops sets the Trick Room. It's not a pretty start. Dusclops bails and Clodsire comes in. Clefairy is clutch here because it has After You. This lets Persian get another Snarl off before Electric can attack, which does some useful damage and burning its held Citrus Berry. Electric answers with a Wild Charge, taking Clefairy down to just above half. I haven't done much damage, but if I can survive the Trick Room, I can win. Clodsire protects, as does Clefairy. Surprisingly, Electric protects too. Persian's Parting Shot fails to a complete dead turn. Now Nick is almost guaranteed to attack. I can make a defensive pivot. I expect Clodsire to high horsepower into Clefairy. I swap in my flying type Minior to float above the cracking floor. Nick withdraws Electric to bring Dusclops back in. I correctly predict the high horsepower as Minior takes 0 damage. I Parting Shot Clodsire to drop its attack and pivot Cypher back in. The plan is to keep cycling to bleed Trick Room turns. Nick has to be scared of Cypher. I mean, who wouldn't be with those blades for hands? So he terastallizes Clodsire into the flying type to smash Cypher with a super effective Terra Blast. I bring in Persian to eat the hit. Shadow Sneak does a measly 6 damage. Terra Blast is laughed off and Minior gets a free Shell Smash just as Trick Room ends. Even with these boosts, I don't think I could take out the Dusclops. Nick preserves Clodsire and brings back in Electric. I fish for a Rock Slide flinch to try and stop Trick Room from being reset. Minior nails both targets. I Parting Shot Dusclops and get Clefairy back on the field. No flinch, Trick Room goes up again. Then I make a huge mistake. I misclick After You onto Nick's Dusclops instead of my own Minior. That single misclick means that Minior can't move before Electric. Clefairy eats a Shadow Sneak and then falls to a Wild Charge. Electric dies to recoil, leaving a single target Rock Slide, and it misses. Absolute cinema. Cypher hits the field again. With my Trick Room support dead, I have to go all in. I Terra Cypher into the ground type to cover for the potential flying Terra Blast. Clodsire instead waterfalls Minior down to below half. Dusclops then pain splits Cypher, getting almost all of its HP back. Cypher can now show why it was placed in the top tier. Technician, boosted, dual wing beat. It chunks Dusclops for approximately 60%. Minior then redeems itself. A 4 times boosted Acrobatics finishes the Dusclops. Shields Down activates, and now Minior is a literal cannon. Just a beat too late. Nick's last Pokemon is a Hisui and Sneasel. I take Cypher out and bring Persian back in to try and regain some momentum. But without Protect, Minior is a sitting duck. Sneasel fakes out Persian, and Clodsire finishes Minior off with Waterfall. Now it's Cypher and Persian versus Clodsire and a Focus Sash Sneasel with 1 turn of Trick Room left. But Trick Room might work in my favour. Cypher has a good chance of being slower than Sneasel, so he can get a dual wing beat off before Sneasel can KO it in return. Persian fake outs Clodsire. Cypher is slower and lands a huge dual wing beat and deletes the Sneasel by bypassing the Sash as it is a double hit move. Trick Room ends, and that should be game. Final blow is dealt from Cypher as another dual wing beat lands, moving me to 1-0 in league play. Game 2 is up, and it's Phoenix. Honestly, this team looks terrifying. At the centre you've got Medicham with a Life Orb and Pure Power, which basically means anything it touches is getting punted to the moon. Pair that with Murkrow offering Prankster Tailwind, Sun, or even Taunt to shut down setup, and suddenly Phoenix can control the entire pace of the game. The bulk is covered by Rhydon with the Assault Vest and Lightning Rod, which completely walls out my Pikachu, while Primplup brings a surprise competitive boost to counter most of my disruption strats. Then there's an Ivysaur, Chlorophyll, In the Sun, and accurate Sleep Powder thanks to Wide Lens. And just to wrap it all up, a Quilava with Charcoal boosted fire moves for immediate damage. Phoenix's team is all about overwhelming pressure, and making you second guess your move choice at every turn. My challenge is threading through that without letting Medicham run wild. Phoenix leads with Murkrow and Ivysaur. I lead with Persian and Cypher. Phoenix immediately swaps Ivysaur for the monster that is Rhydon and terastallizes Murkrow to Ghost, the standard avoid fake out stuff. Persian gets the Icy Wind off first, hitting both targets and dropping their speed. This also gives me good information that Murkrow is attacking with Foul Play. Cypher uses U-turn, and now I have a dilemma. Both of my Pokemon in the back have significant attack investment, so Foul Play is going to do a lot of damage. Rhydon's Lightning Rod makes Pikachu a liability in this game, so I bring in Poliwhirl to take the hit. Foul Play does massive damage to Poliwhirl, popping its Citrus Berry and shutting down any belly drum plan. My thought process is if Poliwhirl can outspeed Murkrow, it can get a 4 times effective liquidation into Rhydon before being taken out by another Foul Play, so I protect. I was expecting Tailwind, but instead, Murkrow sets the Sun. I land another Icy Wind, but the board state definitely favours Phoenix. Rhydon's high horsepower hits my protect, so the turn isn't a total loss. I keep spamming Icy Wind to maintain speed control. Despite Sun being up, Liquidation still takes Rhydon into the red. Poliwhirl's job is done. Murkrow foul plays Poliwhirl, and then Rhydon finishes it off with a Rock Slide, while hitting Persian for chip as well. Pikachu is now ready to get unleashed. With Rhydon now on low HP, I can hopefully take it out with Knockoff. Murkrow finally sets Tailwind. Persian parting shots Rhydon to ensure Pikachu can live if it fails to pick up the KO, pivoting Cypher back in. Luckily for me, Pikachu does pick up the KO, and is now free to go to town with Volt Tackle. Phoenix brings in Medicham for a free switch. And yes, this thing in Tailwind can one-shot pretty much everything in the format. I Terra Cypher, hoping it goes for Rock Slide, but instead Medicham fake outs Pikachu for 80%, just an absurd amount of damage. That gives Cypher a window of opportunity. Dual Wing Beat connects, removing the thick-thighed beast, easing pressure on my side of the field. Murkrow then hits Cypher for another huge foul play. Phoenix is now down to 2 as Ivysaur returns to the field. With 2 turns of Tailwind left and 1 turn of Sun, it guarantees Ivysaur is going to move first. It can KO either target or even put a slot to sleep with Sleep Powder. I don't fancy letting it smack Cypher for a super effective Solar Beam, so I swap Cypher out. Persian comes in, Murkrow taunts Pikachu to stop it from using Protect to stall Tailwind turns. Ivysaur charges the Solar Beam and unloads on Persian. Somehow Persian hangs on by a thread. Pikachu lands a Volt Tackle into Murkrow, and I think we can all agree it had overstayed its welcome, KOing it and taking a small amount of recoil, but that basically seals it. Ivysaur has no Protect. Next turn is a free fake out from Persian, enabling Pikachu to knock off and Tailwind ends, my Pokemon outspeed, Persian Icy Winds for the KO, and I move to 2-0. Game 3 is versus Champ, and he has a really well-rounded team. First you've got Brionne, with Throat Spray Hyper Voice combo, backed by Chargebug's Battery Boost to make it hit even harder. That alone can spiral out of control if left unchecked. The supporting cast is just as annoying. Dracloak with Breaking Swipe and Speed Control, plus a Ditto with Covert Cloak, meaning Champ can use all of my own tools against me. Then there's the offense, from Magmar running Life Orb and Weeping Bell rocking Assault Vest, for a surprisingly strong Sun mode. This team has answers to everything, so for me, the matchup comes down to making sure Brionne doesn't get a free turn and playing carefully around Ditto shenanigans. Champ leads with Dracloak and Ditto, I lead with Cypher and Persian. Fake Out here is borderline useless. Jekeleke is a ghost type and Ditto is holding the covert cloak instead of the usual choice scarf. So my plan is to U-turn Cypher into the Ditto slot and then Icy Wind to wrestle speed control. Fake Out hits Cypher before it can U-turn. Persian, faster than Jekeleke, still gets an Icy Wind off for decent damage. Jekeleke answers with a Breaking Swipe, dropping both my Mon's attacks. I try the same again next turn. Icy Wind connects, but Ditto is still faster, and pops a parting shot before my U-turn can do the damage I want. Champ sends in Brionne to eat it no problem. I pivot into Pikachu, and both get Breaking Swiped again. Pikachu is hit for half. I have to snarl with Persian to neuter the Hyper Voice Throat Spray combo. I expect Protect or Terra Grass from Champ to dodge a Volt Tackle or Fake Out, so I can freely go for knockoff on Jekeleke with Pikachu. I predict correctly. Brionne protects, and Persian Snarl actually KOs Jekeleke before Pikachu. Champ replaces Jekeleke with Charger Bug. With Jekeleke gone, Pikachu's value is lower. I decide to get as much damage down as possible. Volt Tackle into Brionne while Persian snarls. Champ does go for Terra Grass this turn on Brionne. Snarl chips it down and lowers its special attack, and Pikachu's now resisted Volt Tackle does significant amount of damage. Charger Bug hits Persian with Lunge, and then Brionne lands a Hyper Voice, taking out the Pikachu, and landing a brutal critical hit on Persian, meaning it goes down 2. Throat Spray procs, and Brionne's special attack is back to neutral. I send in Minior and Cypher to the endgame. I Terra Cypher to cover for Thunderbolt on Charger Bug. Brionne protects. Dual Wing Beat lands on Charger Bug, but to my surprise, it tanks it. Minior's Acrobatics is blocked by a Protect, and finally Charger Bug nails Minior with a Thunderbolt. This is the turn where I have to set up perfectly. Any double Protect could ruin it. So I go for the Fury Cutter Snowball on Cypher and Shell Smash on Minior to guarantee I outspeed and proc the White Herb to get boosted Acrobatics going forward. Champ swaps Brionne for Ditto, copying my Minior. Fury Cutter barely tickles Ditto. Minior Shell Smashes for free as Charger Bug lunges into Cypher, lowering its attack. Everything looks set. Fury Cutter plus Rock Slide next turn should win. Champ brings back in the Brionne. My Hypercharged Rock Slide takes out both targets, and then I realise the mistake. Ditto re-enters on the right hand side and copies my boosted Minior. It's now a speed tie to decide who KOs who. We lose the speed tie. Rock Slide lands and my Minior falls. Cypher's Fury Cutter is quad resisted, doing little to no damage. The Cypher falls next turn, and we move to a record of 2-1. We need to lock in. The games don't get any easier. Game 4 is Jack, my rival, and his team is the epitome of balance. The centerpiece is the best Pokemon in the format, Porygon 2, with the download ability holding the choice specs. It's bulky, it hits ridiculously hard, and punishes you for leaving it alone for even a single turn. Supporting it is Fletchinder, with Gale Wing's priority boosted Tailwind and Brave Bird, making speed control and pressure basically guaranteed. But that's only 2 of the 6 problems here. There's a choice-banded Morpeko, Dugtrio with Arena Trap and Focus Sash to punish anything out of position. Meanwhile, Cyclozar provides a pivot option with Shed Tail, putting something behind a substitute, all while healing itself back with Regenerator. And then there's one Curveball. Sunflora. Yeah, Sunflora. But don't laugh. With Solar Power and a Life Orb in the sun, its Weather Ball and Giga Drain can melt teams if it gets rolling. Jack's squad has power, trapping ability, and speed control. My win condition here is denying Tailwind and not letting Porygon 2 dictate the pace of the game. Jack leads Morpeko and Cyclozar. I open with Clefairy and Cypher. If Morpeko attacks, it will be locked in due to holding the choice band, and Cyclozar will likely want to Shed Tail for substitute shenanigans. I decide to start the Fury Cutter Snowball early. It has 0 downsides. Clefairy follow me's in case Morpeko is faster. Cypher lands a Fury Cutter and obliterates Morpeko on turn 1. Cyclozar opts for Breaking Swipe instead of Shed Tail, dropping both attacks. A slight annoyance, but more importantly, Cypher moved first this turn, so Cyclozar isn't heavily speed invested. Instead, it's probably in defense stats and HP. Dugtrio comes next. I terrestrialize Cypher into ground to mitigate the expected Rock Slide, and helping hand with Clefairy to bypass the attack drop, Dugtrio uses Rock Slide as predicted. Both mons take it fine. Cypher doesn't flinch and hits a Fury Cutter number 2 for 60% on Cyclozar. Clefairy then tanks a super effective Iron Head and hangs on by a sliver. This whole game now rests on Cypher not flinching on the next Rock Slide. Clefairy gets one final helping hand as a parting gift before Dugtrio launches another Rock Slide, taking it down. Cypher soaks the hit, doesn't flinch, and lands Fury Cutter number 3. Cyclozar down. Jack's final Pokemon is a Terra, Porygon 2, the true best Pokemon in the format. I bring in Persian to replace the fallen Clefairy. Dugtrio only has attacking moves, so Fake Out is obvious, giving Cypher a chance to strike. Cypher lands a critical hit Fury Cutter and Porygon 2 gets one shot. Jack, as a last resort, terastallizes Dugtrio into ground, but Persian outspeeds, lands an Icy Wind to break the Focus Sash, and Cypher finishes the job, landing Fury Cutter number 5. Our record now stands at 3-1. The final game is Luke, and Luke's draft is basically 6 different ways to punch you in the face. Fracture with Choice Band is the headline. Once it locks into Outrage, something is probably fainting. Supporting it, you've got Gramble and Mightyena, both Intimidate users, softening up my physical attackers while still threatening damage themselves. Trio is holding the Focus Sash to guarantee it lands at least one attack. Then it has priority Aqua Jet to clean up, plus its ability Gooey to mess with my team's pacing. Braixen is a big curveball here. It carries Trick Room, burns with Will-O-Wisp, and surprise Grass Knot coverage for Poliwhirl, all while hiding behind a Pasho Berry to reduce super effective Water-type damage. Finally, Zangoose rounds things out with a Toxic Orb and Toxic Boost, giving it a free Choice Band if statused. If it gets an opportunity, it's tearing a hole in my team. So the name of the game here is focusing down on Fracture or Zangoose, while trying not to get tripped up by the Intimidate core or Braixen's Trick Room mode. Luke opens up with Fracture and Gramble. I open up with Persian and Poliwhirl. Luke goes all in on the first turn. Terra Dragons his Choice Banded Fracture. Persian uses Fake Out on Gramble, and Poliwhirl gets a Belly Drum off, eating its Citrus Berry, and now Poliwhirl is +6, ready to rock. Fracture answers with a colossal outrage into Persian that OHKOs through Fur Coat. Weirdly, that's the best case scenario for me, because I have Clefairy in the back, ready to just sit there and follow me. The Fracture slot is completely redundant as long as Clefairy stays on the field. Clefairy uses Follow Me. Poliwhirl outspeeds Gramble and OHKOs with Liquidation. Fracture launches another outrage, but Clefairy, being immune to Dragon, takes no damage at all. Braixen swaps into the fallen Gramble slot. I make a classic brain fart. I forget that Fracture is Choice Banded. I then Terra Steel Clefairy, turning my Dragon Immune wall into a Fire Weak sack. Fortunately, Poliwhirl bails me out and OHKOs Braixen through a Pasho Berry. Clefairy also survives an incoming outrage, huge for the late game. Mightyena replaces Braixen and gets an Intimidate down, dropping Poliwhirl to just the +5 attack stat. Luke will want Clefairy off the field, so Fracture can freely outrage. I go for Protect on Clefairy, expecting Mightyena to play rough. Instead, Mightyena goes for Sucker Punch, which fails. I just need Poliwhirl to pick up this KO on Fracture. Even with the Belly Drum boost, the Intimidate drop mattered as Fracture hangs on. This time I get lucky as the outrage goes into Clefairy's Protect. Poliwhirl survives another turn. The Fracture succumbs to fatigue and is now confused. Expecting another Sucker Punch into Poliwhirl, I use Follow Me again with Clefairy. Poliwhirl liquidates Mightyena for the third KO, Fracture breaks through confusion and KOs Clefairy. I bring Minior in, Protect with Poliwhirl, and Fracture ends the match by hitting itself in confusion. Anticlimactic, but effective. We move into playoffs in the top seed with a record of 4-1. We're back against Nick, this time in the semi-finals, and the stakes are way higher. It's a best of 3, so adaptation is everything. The difference now is that Nick has room to mix it up. In a single game, you can sometimes get away with a surprise tech, but in a best of 3, he can pivot his game plans. Maybe leading Trick Room once, then coming in hot with a low kicks or Sneasel next time. For me, the goal is simple. I have to manage Trick Room turns cleanly, and keep my Pokemon healthy enough to pick up the pieces after the dimensions return to normal. I like my odds, but this is definitely going to be a chess match. In a complete switch up to our league play match, Nick opens Drizzile and Low Kicks. I open Cypher and Pikachu. Low Kicks is Choice Banded and Drizzile is Choice Specs, so there's no defensive nonsense here. Both my Pokemon outspeed, so it's time to get aggressive. Cypher U-turns and one-shots Low Kicks. I pivot into Clefairy expecting to block some damage in case Drizzile somehow outspeeds Pikachu. It doesn't. Volt Tackle lands for a double KO on the first turn. We're off to an excellent start. Nick sends in Sneasel and Clodsire. Sneasel can Fake Out and Clefairy is kind of useless without the second slot outputting damage, so I protect both to scout. Sneasel Fake Outs, Clodsire high horsepowers. That's all the info I needed. I want Clefairy around one more turn so Pikachu can clean up the Sneasel. I Terra Steel expecting a poison jab. Instead, Nick protects Sneasel, Pikachu is blocked by Protect, and Clodsire high horsepowers Clefairy? Clefairy dies, and a huge turn goes in Nick's favour. I bring in Persian to apply my own Fake Out pressure. Nick tries the double Protect on Sneasel to try and preserve the Focus Sash, but it fails. Fake Out lands, and Pikachu as a parting gift knocks off Clodzire's Life Orb. Clodzire then finishes off Pikachu with another high horsepower as I send Cypher in to replace it. At this point, it's all down to speed tiers. If Nick hasn't fully invested his Sneasel, I should win this game. Clodzire protects, Persian moves next and lands an Icy Wind. That speed drop lets Cypher outspeed and land a dual wing beat. Sneasel gone. As a last-ditch effort, Nick terastallizes Clodzire into flying. I play my outs using Parting Shot to ensure Cypher lives one, just in case I miss the dual wing beat. And guess what? I speak it into existence. Clodzire's Flying Terror Blast hits Cypher hard. This turn, I have to Icy Wind, as if Cypher misses again, Persian on its own might not be able to bring the victory home. Icy Wind does land for small chip, but it doesn't matter as Cypher connects with dual wing beat, and we take game 1 of the best of 3. Even more mind games ensue in game 2, as the leads switch once again. Nick leads Clodzire and Dusclops, I lead Persian and Minior. A really bad lead from me. I could have done better predicting Nick would go for Trick Room after losing the last set without it. I Parting Shot Dusclops, expecting Clodzire to protect and Dusclops to Trick Room. Neither protect as Parting Shot lands. I bring Pikachu in for extra Fake Out pressure, and Minior Shell Smashes. Clodzire waterfalls Minior for over half, Trick Room goes up, as Minior's Shields Down activates, giving my Minior a huge speed buff. This position looks so bad, but I'm confident I can turn this around. Next turn, I expect Nick to play defensively around Fake Out. I've tried to be sneaky by not using it all the time to keep him guessing. But there's no protects again. Minior takes a Shadow Sneak comfortably from a -1 Dusclops, but then I'm rewarded. Nick misplays as he high horsepowers into Minior, forgetting its part Flying type. Absolutely beautiful. Pikachu returns a knockoff and does huge damage as Dusclops was still holding the Mental Herb. Minior hits both with Rock Slide and finishes the Dusclops off. Resetting of Trick Room is no longer on the table. Electric enters the fray. In a potentially odd decision, I decide to preserve Minior rather than keep all of its boosts. Shields down, Minior can still output huge damage and outspeed a Sneasel potentially lurking in the back. I bring in Persian to sponge the hits. Pikachu protects to live another turn. Persian eats a Clodzire waterfall, and the Eel's knockoff lands into Pikachu's protect. I use Fake Out to stop Clodzire from moving first. Electric on the second turn of Asking lands a knockoff on Pikachu, removing the Light Ball. Pikachu returns its own knockoff, doing significantly less damage, but more importantly removing Electric Citrus Berry. This is the last turn of Trick Room. Nick could go all in. He should go all in, but instead, he protects both Clodzire and Electric. I protect with Pikachu as Icy Wind falls on deaf ears. A dead turn, but a crucial one, as now the tempo flips. Persian is now here just to spam Icy Wind, in case Nick switches and has something speedy in the back. It does barely anything to either of Nick's mons. Pikachu once again uses knockoff, this time removing Clodzire's Life Orb, before it's taken out by Electric. Clodzire, back to moving last, uses another waterfall into Persian, but without the Life Orb, Clodzire can't do much through Fur Coat. I bring my turbocharged Meteorite back in. Persian uses Icy Wind, which barely leaves Clodzire alive. Annoying, because I wanted Minior's Rock Slide on a single target. This Rock Slide finishes Clodzire and chips Electric. Electric retaliates with an Electro Web, taking Minior out and crucially cutting Persian's speed. Cypher comes in, as Nick reveals his last Pokemon is Low Kicks. Neither of us has used Terastallization yet. I expect Nick to Terra Fighting his Low Kicks and Axe Kick Persian. I Terra Cypher into ground to be immune from Electric's Wild Charge. This is risky. Missing Icy Wind and or Wing Beat could lose the game. Cypher's Terra goes first, confirming I outspeed. The Low Kicks does Terastallize into the Fighting type. Dual Wing Beat lands and KOs before it can even move. The single target Icy Wind isn't enough to take down the Electric, which just uses Electro Web one last time. The next turn, Cypher finishes the job off with close combat, and we move on to the grand final with a record of 5-1. Here we are again, in the grand finals, this time against Jack. It all comes down to one more best of 3 with the championship on the line. The league play match was pretty close, but I don't think Jack will let Cypher get positioned that easily again. This is a huge clash of styles, driven by different approaches to team building. My team thrives on pivoting, cycling, and setting up openings, while Jack's team looks to seize the tempo with Tailwind and force trades with huge damage. It's going to be all about positioning. One wrong switch, one wrong prediction, and the championship could slip away. The moment of truth. The first best of 1 versus Jack was tight. This is probably one of my team's harder matchups. Jack leads Fletchinder and Porygon 2. I lead with Persian and Minior. I tried to predict that the Fletchinder will Terrastallize into Ghost type to avoid the Fake Out, making Snarl super effective and getting a special attack drop on the Choice Specs Porygon 2. It doesn't Terra and immediately sets Tailwind. Worse, Porygon 2 outspeeds Minior and lands Icy Wind, dropping my speed and burning Minior's White Herb. Snarl lands doing absolutely nothing, and Minior goes for Shell Smash, but has to keep the defense drops because there's no White Herb to restore them. Absolute disaster. With no Protect on either Mon, I have to try and get some damage down. Persian eats a Sharp Beak boosted Brave Bird, and Porygon 2 fires another Icy Wind that unfortunately misses Minior. Unlucky because I needed the Shields Down activation. My Rock Slide also misses the one target I needed to hit, Fletchinder. The Rock Slide on Porygon 2 actually does a significant amount of damage, but another Snarl keeps that Porygon 2 in check as its special attack falls. Jack swaps Porygon 2 out for Morpeko, Fletchinder Terrastalizes to Ghost, and Brave Birds, taking my Persian out. Minior's Rock Slide finally drops Fletchinder, but Shields Up means it misses the range on Morpeko. Porygon 2 hits the field again, I send out Cypher to replace Persian. The next turn, I forget Tailwind is still up, and I assume Cypher will outspeed Porygon 2. Not the case. There's one turn of Tailwind left. This is hopefully the last brain fart from me, especially now we're in the finals. Morpeko lands a huge Ice Fang into Cypher. Porygon 2's Icy Wind then finishes the job, taking Cypher and Minior down. I'm left with a Clefairy with no attacking moves, so I run from the battle with my back against the wall. In Game 2, Jack keeps the same leads. I make a slight adjustment, leading Cypher and Persian. Expecting a similar opening turn to last time round, I'm not going to try and predict anything. I'm just going to play what's in front of me. He swaps out Porygon 2 into Morpeko. I Terra Cypher to ground to cover for the priority Brave Bird. Persian Fake Outs Morpeko, allowing Fletchinder to secure Tailwind. Cypher gets a free close combat into Morpeko and picks up a KO. Jack sends a Choice Specs Porygon 2 back in. Luckily, opposite Persian, so it doesn't get the special attack download boost. I need Cypher alive, so I swap Clefairy into what I expect to be a bloodbath. But Frengard can keep Persian at a decent amount of HP. This proves crucial, as Persian not only takes a Sharp Beak boosted Brave Bird from Fletchinder, but also a Choice Specs Stab Tri-Attack from a Porygon 2. We avoid any status and get the parting shot off lowering Porygon's offenses. Cypher comes back in with support and now can actually do damage. Jack pulls Porygon 2 once again, sending in Dugtrio. Clefairy uses Follow Me to redirect. Fletchinder keeps using Brave Bird, taking Clefairy down to the yellow. Cypher lands close combat on Dugtrio, bringing it down to Sash. This game is going significantly better, but I have to play more cautiously to ensure that I can safely get Cypher to the endgame. Fletchinder protects, as it probably wants to set Tailwind in a last stand for Porygon 2. I protect with Clefairy, and Dugtrio uses Earthquake, taking Cypher under half HP. Cypher U-turns out and KOs Dugtrio. I bring in Pikachu, as Jack brings in Porygon 2 once again. Crucially, as Tailwind ends, meaning Pikachu can move first this turn. I'm hesitant to use Fake Out to stop Fletchinder's Tailwind, because Terrastalization is still in his pocket. The Fletchinder Terrastalizes as expected. Clefairy uses Follow Me to protect Pikachu. Pikachu attacks and knocks off the Choice Specs, severely reducing Porygon 2's output, but now it won't be locked into just using one move. Fletchinder resets the Tailwind, and Porygon 2 eventually uses Icy Wind, dropping both my speeds, but more importantly, not KOing Clefairy. Time to stall as much as possible. I protect with both Pikachu and Clefairy. Tri-Attack and Flare Blitz do zilch. 2 turns of Tailwind to go. Clefairy uses one last Follow Me in case Jack misplays and goes for Protect on Fletchinder. He doesn't, and Brave Bird KOs. Pikachu then falls to a Tri-Attack from Porygon. I am left in a sticky situation as Persian and Cypher hit the field both on low HP. Jack has 1 turn of Tailwind left in his sails, ready to carry him to victory. Porygon 2 can't protect, so I Fake Out Porygon with Persian. The big question is, where does Fletchinder take aim? It charges up and targets the Persian, getting the KO. Cypher returns the favour with a huge dual wing beat, getting revenge for Persian. The Tailwind is gone. We have a chance. Cypher outspeeds and slams close combat into the pinned Porygon 2 and evens the set. This final is going all the way. We head to Game 3. Time to lock in. Jack makes adjustments in Game 3, leading Cyclozar and Dugtrio. I've also made my own adjustments, leading Persian and Pikachu. Pikachu needs to live. It's a check for a potential Fletchinder in the back, so I focus on taking Dugtrio out first. Neither of Jack's Pokemon have Protect, so Fake Out is free. I use Pikachu as my Fake Out Mon because Persian will outspeed the Cyclozar and let me get speed control with Icy Wind. something Jack has been using against me in the previous games. Fake Out hits Dugtrio for over 50%. Icy Wind does super effective damage to both, then Cyclozar uses Shed Tail, sacrificing half its HP to bring something in behind a substitute. While Arena Trap keeps me pinned into this duo, it swaps into Porygon 2. This is legitimately terrifying. Choice Specs, Porygon 2, behind a substitute. I protect with Pikachu. Persian gets another Icy Wind off and crucially takes a KO on Dugtrio, freeing me from Arena Trap. Porygon 2 peeks out from behind its sub and locks into Tri-Attack. It smacks Persian hard, but Persian stands with no status. Cyclozar returns to the field. Jack Terra Dragons the Cyclozar, charging a double boosted Breaking Swipe or Dragon Claw. But Persian outspeeds and lands an Icy Wind again, dropping the speed just enough for Pikachu to move first and land a knockoff on the Cyclozar for a huge KO. Still, Porygon 2 sits behind its substitute and tears Persian apart with another Tri-Attack. At this point, I'm surprisingly calm. Fletchinder hits the field and has priority Tailwind available through its Gale Wings ability, meaning Porygon 2 could move first and KO Pikachu with just another Tri-Attack. However, Terra Steel Clefairy is the sharpest thorn in Jack's side. By terastallizing Clefairy to Steel, the flying and normal attacks are resisted, letting me freely follow me, but this is an obvious play, so Jack would probably use Flare Blitz into Clefairy. But if he does, Pikachu will outspeed as Gale Wings only boosts the priority of flying type moves. Clefairy terastallizes into the Steel type, wearing its axe proudly, redirecting all the attention with Follow Me. Fletchinder protects as my Volt Tackle lands and does 0 damage. Clefairy eats the Choice Specs Tri-Attack. The end is in sight, but we're not out of the woods just yet. Scenarios exist where if I target incorrectly, Fletchinder can potentially live and KO Clefairy with Flare Blitz. To cover for this, I protect. Pikachu moves next and Volt Tackle one-shots Fletchinder, meaning Jack did in fact click Flare Blitz. Porygon 2 returns an OHKO on Pikachu with Tri-Attack, and I bring in Cypher for the final stand. Clefairy's Follow Me prevents Jack from removing Cypher, before it gets a chance to break the sub, and eventually KOing using Close Combat. Unless Tri-Attack inflicts a paralysis and Clefairy doesn't move. Clefairy uses Follow Me as Cypher Close Combats to break the sub. Tri-Attack lands on the Clefairy and doesn't get a status. Clefairy uses Follow Me again. Cypher Close Combats for 70%. Another Tri-Attack, still no status. Clefairy uses Follow Me one last time. Cypher finishes the job with another Close Combat. I take home another Fast Draft. Let's get it, boys. We love it!
I had purely for heavy slam.
Well done, Jake.
Thank you.
That's why I ran
Thank
heavy.
you,
That's why I
thank
ran
you.
Nuclear.
Well done, Jacob. GG's.
And there we have it, boys and girls. I take home another Fast Draft. Now, I might edit these things as if they're really dead serious and competitive, but it's really not. It's just an evening with friends that once played Draft League that don't really have the time to do it anymore. It's an evening of fun, and we also get to scratch that little itch that every Draft League player has, that you want to play, and then the moment you start playing, you start hating the game again. So Fast Draft is perfect for that. I want to say a big thank you to the boys that make it possible. It's Champ, Phoenix, Nick, Luke, and Jack. They're all there every single Fast Draft. They make this idea that Seb had an actual reality. Hopefully we can get some more in. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was probably the longest edit I've ever done. Probably one of the best videos I've ever made. If you do like it, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye!